you hear that rumbling? That's not thunder. That's the Hurricane Hole Ray of Sunshine. It's $50 all-inclusive barbecue happening Saturday, July 12th, 193 Vernon Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, from 5 to 10 p.m. 5 hours of straight Category 5 thunderous vibes. Food flowing, drinks flowing, vibes turn all the way up. Musically, shelling the place down. DJ Speedo Meetum.
Yeah, talk to me now.
And DJ Bashi. From old school classics to dancehall beat to soca madness to the tunes that make you wanna bust a wine till sunset. This is not a sit-down event. This is a bring your big energy kind of line. So rally the crew and enter the hole. The Hurricane Hole Ray of Sunshine, July 12th, 193 Vernon Avenue.
Love how we party, love how we vet. Pour out the bounty, everything's set. Celebrate good friends and more. Let me see, tout moon, farewell. Love how the twin peaks rise to the top. Bounty, treasure, right non-stop. We love with spirit and we all have fun. Love that loose and rum.
Perfectly blended, smooth, the rum of the people. Experience the 6 flavors of Bounty Rum, the spirit of St. Lucia.
In this life I don't want no stress, yeah, I just wanna have fun. In this life I don't want no stress, yeah, I just wanna have fun. Every cent you spend, there's the ones who counting. That ain't making sense, they can't see when pressure mounting. Now my life is his, and your life is yours. I don't leave us a please, I know this I'm sure. But you know I'm too lightly, you don't count it like.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of Hushtalk. I know you're only seeing my face right now, but hey Pops Bill, hey Bills, how you doing?
I'm good.
Are you under the weather? You sound a little soft.
Yes, I am. I'm not feeling quite fine today.
Oh, I'm to hear. Well, guys, you heard it from my co-host mouth. She's not feeling very well today. So let's make sure we have a session that's going to pick her right up, get this session going. So views, I hope as the night wears on. So guys, you are here for another episode of Hushtalk. Today we want to explore the difference between healthy and unhealthy factors in friends and family. We want to highlight how healthy boundaries strengthen relationships, prevent resentment, prevent regret. You already know. This is where we talk, we listen, we learn, and sometimes we just lovingly mind our own business and yours. No shame here. I'm your host, and in tonight's conversation, we will examine how some requests that we ask to our friends and family, they strengthen relationships, while others very quietly destroy them. It's not about exposing bad friends or toxic family members. It's about recognizing that some of the requests we make, like they place people in an impossible position. And just coming here and learning how to build healthy boundaries, we can see how we can create healthier relationships. So I think everybody here tonight, we have either asked somebody for something maybe that was a little too much, or somebody has asked us something that was a little bit too much. So we're just going to be looking at those favors that immediately makes you think, I love you, but absolutely not. I'm sure every single one of you have had one of those moments. Have you had one of those moments?
Oh, yes, I have. I've had quite a few of them.
Wait, I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure why.
You're not hearing me?
Now I'm hearing you perfect.
No, I said I've had quite a few of them. Quite a few.
So is it you've had quite a few because people have asked you, or you have actually made some of those requests sometimes?
No, I can't recall having made any, or if I have, it wasn't brought to my attention. I have had a few made at me. People request stuff from me.
All right, great. So tonight we're going to be talking about ours and yours my FUBUs and your BUFUs. But before I go any further, I'm sure you guys can recognize I'm not in Florida this episode. I'm in the Big Apple. What happened, Leona? Oh, now you have to log in. How else am I going to hear your contribution? Unless you want to come on camera with me. So maybe I'm going to have somebody come on camera with me, somebody you all know well. And I'm sure she's going to have some 2 cents to put in. But anyway, I'm in New York and we're going to get this started. But before we go any further, I think we should just talk about the ground rules we want to set. We want to just say that this is not an episode that's saying, oh, let's expose your friends who are terrible friends. We're not trying to expose nobody. We're asking whatever request you have. Like if you feel like you have something that you want to share, you share it where you don't cross the line. We're not trying to make you feel bad. We're trying to set boundaries that actually protect relationships. So if you have a story or an experience you want to share, we want you to keep names out of it. We want you to keep all kinds of identifying information out of it. Just share the situation or the request that you feel was inappropriate. We don't need to know who it was. Even if it was you can keep it quiet, because we're trying to make sure that friends and family know, if they're not yet aware, okay, you asked this and it was way too much. So just to put this out, in the open before we even start. So I see we have some beautiful numbers already. We have some beautiful numbers, but we have very few likes. Can we put some likes and loves and emojis on there so we'll know that you're enjoying this topic and you come here ready to participate? I don't know who we have. Bills, if you can notice, I don't have my glasses tonight. I forgot them at home. So
we have Cheryl. Cheryl says, good evening, my dear sister and my beautiful adopted sisters and everyone listening.
Oh, wow. Hey, sis. Hello, hello.
Electra is in. She said, hey, guys.
And I can't believe she's on. Elex, thank you for your loyalty. She wasn't supposed to be here tonight, but she's already here. So that's very nice. Thank you guys for coming on. Fields, I think I want to kind of throw a few questions out there to the audience, just in case you're probably thinking, I don't really know where to start. Even when I thought of the topic at first, I'm like, do I have any of those? And then when I started thinking about it, I realized I had so many. So we're going to give our audience some kind of frame out there as to where they should be thinking. I kind of put down a few questions that I want you guys to think about. So it's like, what's a favor you feel like you'd never ask anybody for that favor, but somebody has asked you for that already? Or if you can think of a difference between some things that you feel is manipulation, but maybe family members might feel like, oh, it's your obligation and you have to do it. But you feel like they're manipulating you. You feel like you're being taken advantage of. Questions like, should friends ever keep score? Well, say, this time you did this and I didn't do this and you never did this and whatever. Situations where somebody get angry when you say no. They ask you something, you say no, and then they get angry. So when you think back, you're like, well, were they asking me or were they demanding? Because obviously if you're asking me, you're expecting I'm going to say no. So if when I say no, you're angry, it means you were expecting or demanding me to say yes. Yeah, you're expecting. So things of that nature. Can you think of any others?
Why is it so difficult? Maybe for example, do you find yourself in a situation where you want to say no, but because of who the person is, you are afraid to say no because you want to keep that relationship so much?
Oh, that's one of the questions. That's one of the questions you're going to be drumming on tonight. I'm not even going to go there yet because I think that's one of the juiciest.
Some of us, we cling on to some relationships. They mean so much to us that we bend over backwards for them. So we will do it, but then we have this other friend that we can tell everything that we go and say. So Yolanda asked me to do that. I thought Yolanda was my friend, but I'm not brave enough to say to Yolanda that I think you were crossing the line.
Well, tonight we're going to share with our audience some suggestions. Like if they're really scared to say no, you don't have to say no if you're scared to say no. But maybe there are some responses they can give that clearly says no, but without the fear of being, pushed against because, you say no. So, and a few other questions. Is borrowing money ever a good idea between friends? Can boundaries actually make people closer? There's another one. What's one favor people just ask you for casually, as if it's like nothing? Like, hey, you can do this, and you're like, what? But they just ask it to you
Yeah,
casually.
casual.
There's another question about generosity. Like, people who are too generous. I have one in the room, Leona. People who are too generous. Oh, shucks. Yolanda, we said no mentioning names. People who are too generous, but I mean, that's a good thing. It wasn't a bad thing. But people who are too generous, you want to ask if generosity attract users because they know you're generous. People tend to use you a lot because they figure, oh, you don't have the heart to say no, so they use you. There was another one, whether or not adult children should be available for their parents when they need them, or if parents should be available for children. And there's a famous one where people say, if you love me, you do that. Is that a healthy sentence to even tell somebody just because they say no? So we are going to be looking at all of those things, and we are going to be talking about healthy and unhealthy requests from friends and family that ruins a relationship, and us identifying that space where we have to say no. Okay, so let's really get started. So, Villa, one of the first questions I want to ask is why does, when you have to say no to people, why does it feel so hard? Why do you think it's so hard to just tell a friend or family no when they make an unreasonable request?
I think a lot of the times it's fear of losing that relationship, fear that if we say no, how is that person going to see us? I think a lot of the times people are afraid to say no. I don't want to say they lack self-confidence, but what I have noticed is like if you're confident in yourself, you are not afraid to say no. Because, okay, fine, I don't want to lose you as a friend. But if I am going to lose you as a friend just because I said no to you, then you were never genuine. So that's fine. Move on. But a lot of the times, it's that fear in us, that fear of losing something. So we're holding on and we letting people trample, and it's just that fear. For me, it was difficult for me to say no before. Now I can say a capital N and a capital O.
Same
And
here.
I learned to say no and no and no because I have a big heart and I was being abused. And people, takers will take. So people were taking. And I had to realize giving does not make me a better person. It does not make me a better person. So I think it's just that fear of losing friends, fear of people disliking you. It's the fear, it's just that fear of not being liked by everybody.
I agree. And I was thinking about it earlier today, Vils, and a lot of times you have people saying, oh, like when you help people or when people, whether you helping them or they're using you, people go, oh no, I just want to be a good sister or a good son or a good daughter.
Yes.
I want to be a good co-worker. I want to be a good church member. They want to be all kinds of things. So they think by saying yes, it's making them look good. But meanwhile, as they're putting themselves out there and giving too much of themselves, they're exhausted, they're overwhelmed. Sometimes because they want to have that, that image, that reputation, they want people to have that certain concept of them. They sacrifice, they put themselves at so much risk. So sometimes your rent is you have rent money. Instead of knowing your experience, oh well, let me just borrow it to this person, let me give it to this person because if I don't give it, they're gonna see me as bad. So they help at the detriment to themselves. And it's just I see it all of the time.
It's just not right. But then a lot of the times you have to get hit really hard. You have to get that rude awakening for you to take a step back. And what I have found, the sum of the people that you're afraid to say no to, when you say no, it's fine. They accept it and they move on. You
And
don't
again,
even
that's what we
lose
say.
their
If they don't move on, then they're not your friend.
Yes, because
So,
when as soon as you say no and you're expecting everybody to get upset and they're like, okay. And you're like, oh, I should have started saying no
no, a
longer.
long time ago. So that
Yes.
fear of disappointing people, that fear that if we say no to them, they'll stop loving us. That fear, like if we say no, it's going to cause a conflict and we're going to find ourselves in row with our family members and our friends or
Exactly.
friends. Again, we have like family expectations, or we just feel like guilt.
That
Or
perfect image you
especially
want
somebody
to
say, "Oh, you're the one who always does that." Like you're the reliable in
do.
the family. Then the minute you say no, all of a sudden you're the worst family member ever
Or,
because they
or
cannot be
sometimes it's just
guts.
an image, because sometimes
Mhm.
everybody thinks you're the rich one in the family, and they don't even know you're struggling, and everybody comes to you for money, and you don't have, and you're going to take every little cent you have from your child's college fund, your child's lunch money, and you're giving it to them because you don't want people to know I am not rich anymore. So
Exactly.
sometimes us protecting an image as well.
So I see Electra is blowing. Electra is oh
Electra.
she's
So
waiting.
she said she's waiting to start her workout,
Uh-huh.
and I guess she was just
You go,
agreeing.
girl.
That she said yes, it does, and she said that's right, V. So she's more or less agreeing to what we're saying.
Okay. So one of the questions I want to put out there to our audience, the questions to provoke you. What is the if you have a very uncomfortable favor, what is the most uncomfortable favor that you've ever been asked? So again, no names, no identifying details, just the favor. If you can put in the chat a really, really uncomfortable favor that somebody has asked you that you just like, you had no business with that. If you can share that with us to put it out there, it will do two things. It will do two things. It will open the space for you to let anybody watching or anybody listening to know, oh, I shouldn't have asked that favor, or if I was even thinking of asking out of somebody, let me not do it. It doesn't sit well with him or her. And it can also do something else for that person. Sometimes we schedule tell, as we said earlier, we schedule tell people no. So now we're not directly telling them no, but we just put it out there that don't ask me that because it's unfair. So it's a way to kind of like set the boundaries and for people to start thinking, oh wait, I have done that before. I don't think I will ever do it again because when I did it, I didn't think it was like infringing on somebody's privacy or generosity or whatever. But now I know I'm going to stop. So that is what I want you to do. If you've ever had a very uncomfortable favor that somebody has asked you, put it in the chat and share that with us. Villa, do you have anyone or do you want me to start? Because I have one. I have one.
The biggest one I had was when
So go
somebody
ahead.
walked.
You go first.
Yeah, the biggest one I had was when somebody walked up to me and said, "Can you borrow me $10,000?" And I was like, "Isi or Guyanese?" And she looked at me like, "Okay," and I said, "What are you doing with it?" And then she told me what she wanted to do with it, and I said, "But why don't you go to the co-op? You're working, you have a salary. You can go to the co-op." And I was like, "And if I can even call the co-op and talk to them, tell you what you need." I said, "But I don't have $10,000 lying around to just." I said, "You honestly think I have $10,000 lying around to just go withdraw and give to you?" I said, "Okay, how are you going to pay me back?" She said, "I
Mhm.
don't know. I'll give you 100 here, 200 here." I said, "You're going to owe me for the rest of your
Because you
life."
don't need your money bills.
I
You don't need
said,
it.
"So you honestly think I'm that rich?" And I said, "Oh, I claim it, my sister." I said, "You honestly think I can just give you?" And she was so pissed at me. And you know what she did?
Mhm.
And that pissed me off so bad. I told her off so bad. She went and she asked Ken to borrow her the money. So if you're not going to give it to me, I'll get it from your husband.
So that
That's
means that person had already decided that you have $10,000 to spare, and by you
Mhm.
saying no, you're just being stingy and selfish.
I'm selfish.
So
So
you
she
see, it's
went.
just like preconceived notions about people, and you just figure, well, this person has that. That should be like an easy matter for you to just give to me. So if you're, and then the worst thing is, did your husband give it to her?
Well,
So
if
now,
he gave it to her, if he
if
gave
it
it to
that
her, I'm
kind of
not
like
aware.
broke the
And
that kind of broke the friendship
had he
because
given it to her, should have thrown it in my face.
mm,
Because when he came to me, I'm like, "But she asked it to me," and I said no, because I had not even told him. She didn't even
mm,
let me tell him. She went, and I'm like, and he said, I told her, I he didn't know what to say. He was like, he was so shocked because that's somebody he's not even close to. And he said, he was like, okay, let me talk to Vilna. And I said, don't even ask me. And she stopped talking to me. She hates me up
Wow.
until a day like today.
Now that's what we're talking about. I mean, let's say she had just gone and maybe he just figure, oh, that's your friend. That's your friend, so I'll just say yes. And then he said yes, and now she's looking at you. Oh, you couldn't give me the money. It's not that you didn't have it. I went to your partner, and then so that kind of like brings that kind of resentment. So now you're being seen as cheap and uncaring or whatever. But that's just too big of a favor. And especially, I'm very sure, Vilna, there are people in your life who might come to you and say, they might not even ask you, they might tell you something and like, I'm going to give you $10,000. And when you can pay it back, you pay it back.
Without blinking an eye.
Yeah,
But not
but then again, that relationship has warranted that kind of generosity.
Exactly.
But somebody up the road just can just walk up to you, that relationship is not there, and then they just ask you. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. Financial requests. When people just gonna make those big requests and they just think, oh, you have to say yes. Even if you're not my friend, that just because you have it and I ask for it, you have to say yes. No.
And then that's the thing, they resent you for it, and they think you're cheap for not giving it to them.
That is crazy. Well, I'm going to move on to no, you know what? I will stick in the financial because I think one of the things I wanted to talk about was like the different favors that can create resentment. And one of the first things was financial. And you brought that up. And then I also had on my list when people come and the first one on my list was when people ask you for huge loans. As far as I'm concerned, $10,000 is a huge loan, especially from a friend. You know that financial institution. We're not Trump, where we can borrow somebody an easy $1 million. $10,000 is a big loan. So another one is co-signing a loan. Like you have a friend telling your friend, oh, I want to take this loan, for X, Y, and Z, and I don't have somebody has to co-sign for me. Can you co-sign for me? And I'm like, putting your signature on something like a loan, if something happens and that person cannot pay that loan, it defaults to you. Because when you put your signature on a loan, you're saying that I agree to take that responsibility in the event that you become incapable of taking on that responsibility. And people don't understand that. People don't understand that.
They don't, because because a lot of the times the people that come to you for financial assistance is people that just think you have it and you owe it to them. They're entitled. They think, they look at you, they look at your lifestyle, they look at where you live, and they figure, oh, she has, I can ask it to her. And that's the thing. People judge you by what they see, and they have no idea what's really going on.
Wow.
Co-signing a loan, that was when I got a thing for. I didn't co-sign a loan. The person had, well, that should have been a red flag for me, bad credit, and gave me some long story, and I signed for the stuff at courts. The person took it at courts and never paid it, and courts is calling me, asking me for their money. And I never even remembered I took it, and I'm like, I didn't take anything from y'all. And the clerk was so rude. She told me, And I'm like, no, I'm not owing courts. I didn't. When I got home, I remembered the stuff I had taken. So much interest had gone on it for her not paying. It was now twice the price of the item.
And did you end up having to pay it yourself?
Clear my name. I just had to pay the whole damn thing.
Wow. So this topic wasn't even, we put it out of a hat, and Harry is being extremely relevant. Like, you can't make up a story like that.
Yeah, because I didn't have a choice. It was going to spoil my credit. And then when I called and I said, but you know what, you need to go and pay the stuff, because she was like, oh, yes, sorry. So I paid part of it just to, and I said, go pay the rest, at least go make a payment. Somebody from courts called me. When she walked in there and they told her I had made a payment, she walked out. She did not put the money she came to pay, because I've already paid some of it.
But then at least what she should have done is say, I'm very sorry that I put that responsibility on you. So now that court is fully paid, this was my responsibility. So even if I have to pay you in small increments until I meet the final thing, I will do so. At least just a matter of integrity. So
and let me tell you, it's okay, I don't want it.
Exactly.
I paid half of it deliberately. She went there when they told her, oh yeah, I made a payment that day, so if I made a payment, it's okay for now. She walked out with her money. I ended up paying the other half.
Wow. Well, okay, so I think that's time for us to take a little bit of a breather. I myself need a breather from that because I would be fuming if it was me. So we will go to our first commercial break, and when we come back, I am going to tell you what my biggest one, not what it may not be my biggest, one of my biggest things that I feel friends and family should not ask you. But before I go to the commercial break, I do want to say good night to Joella Yard. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always a pleasure seeing you on here. And I can see, I think it's I can see Philip, but I cannot see the
Yeah,
first name.
I think
What is
it's
the first name?
LJOT. How do you pronounce
Okay,
that?
well, Mr. Miss or Miss Mr.
Philip.
or Miss Philip, welcome and good night. We will be right back. Let us just say a few words from our sponsors for tonight, okay?
Do you hear that rumbling? That's not thunder. That's the hurricane hole. Ray of sunshine. It's $50 all-inclusive barbecue happening Saturday, July 12th, 193 Vernon Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, from 5 to 10 p.m. 5 hours of straight category 5 thunderous vibes. Food flowing, drinks flowing, vibes turn all the way up. Musically, shelling the place down. DJ Speedo Meeting.
Yeah, talk to me now.
And DJ Bashi. From old school classics to dancehall beat to soca madness to the tunes that make you wanna bust the wine till sunset. This is not a sit-down event. This is a bring your big energy kind of line. So rally the crew and enter the hole. The Hurricane Hole, Ray of Sunshine, July 12th, 193 Vernon Avenue.
In this life I don't want no stress. Yeah, I just wanna have fun. In this life I don't want no stress. Yeah, I just wanna have fun. Every cent you spend, there's the ones who counting. That ain't making sense. They can't see when pressure mounting. Now my life is his, and your life is yours. I don't leave us a please. I know this I'm sure, but you don't have to like me. You don't have to like.
Okay, Hushtalkers, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome all the new people in the house. Welcome, babe. Welcome, Jerry Peter. And Joella says something. Bill, can you tell us what Joella said?
Joella said, it's always a pleasure listening to y'all. Thanks for the shout out. I'm so tired. 10 days working straight.
Aw, that's the strength of a really, really strong woman. I'm so proud of you. It's going to pay off. It's gonna pay off, honey. It's going to pay off.
Philip said, I'm a lady. I still cannot pronounce her first name. It's
And it's
LJOT. Lejot? I'm not sure, but she said I'm a lady. So we'll
Okay,
stick to
so we're
Miss
going to call
Philip.
her Miss Phillips if we have to shout her out, okay? So we don't butcher her name. But guys, if you disagree with me, you can comment in the chat. And if you agree, I definitely want you to comment in the chat. One of the things I think no friend or family member better not ask me, and I will not ask them either. If I am in a relationship, well, it will not happen now because there's no ex for me now. But if I am any ex I have had, even the ones that I have left, I don't want them back. I don't want none of them back. But if you're my friend or my family, you cannot come to me and tell me, I just want to know, is it okay for me to date your ex?
No.
I think that's annoying. I think that's disrespectful. And I think it's wrong. If you're my friend, especially, you were a strong friend of mine, and I left a guy, or the relationship dissolved, and you go to come, well, can I date him now? It means all the time I was with him, you were simply like, secretly there coveting and saying, I'm going to wait my turn, and now it's over. What you doing with him? If I left him, it means he's not good. If I left him, or if we break up, it means he's not good. Okay? So there is no reason for you to come and ask me, and especially if you are in my inner circle, and I have told you, okay, this is what happened, this went down, and you come in, would you mind if I date him or if he's my family member? Absolutely not. Because no man who has been with my sister or my friend can come and say, I really like you. Because I'm going to be like, no, you already had my sister, you already had my friend. There's no getting together with you. The only way that could happen in my life is if I didn't know. If you had a secret relationship and nobody knew, and then it dissolved, Okay, people, honestly, I am never having another live show in New York because I just got I just got feedback from my sister and she says, "You sound like you're quarreling." I agree, I agree. Let me calm down. And nobody asked me to date my ex.
I think it's because you're that passionate about that subject.
Yeah, I am because I have seen it happen. I have seen, like, I know, like, my sister has been in that situation. I have friends who've been in a situation where they break up with a guy or a girl, and then they come and say, or somebody goes, are you okay with me dating your ex? First of all, if we're not friends, you don't have to ask me. He's out there for the taking. But if we're friends, what you want my leftovers for? He's no good. I don't want your leftovers. Go ask for me mine. Don't ask me for mine. So what do you think about that? Vil, how would you feel if you were sitting there and then one of your friends come and tell you, oh, I know you used to date that guy, but now it's over. Are you okay with me dating him? What would your response be?
I'm not even sure. First and foremost, I would ask them why you want to date the person and how long have you been looking at him? Especially if it's a relationship I just came out of.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the first questions. How long have you been looking at him? And you were there. I told you. So I told you everything he did. I told you everything we went through. And if you're still looking at me, if you're puppy dog eyes, I'll say, okay, you can have him. But then you can have him. And when you see me, they'll come, hey, because I look right through you. Because it's.
I'm not going to answer you, eh? I'm not going to tell you can have him. I don't want him, but I'm like, you know what? If you're even asking, don't tell me you're asking me this because we're friends. If you're even asking me that, we're not friends. So this is
Well, like the saying go, they'll tell you, pull Pavli Banan, Shea Pavli Banan, may Pavli were pull back.
I know that's what they will say, Mamile. Call me that, I don't care. If you're my friend and I left an ex, or you're my sister or my cousin, and I left somebody, there's no need for you to go eating my leftovers. Go look for somebody new. They have too many people out there for you to be telling me somebody that was in my life that I move on from that you're interested in. It'll make no sense. It'll make no sense. So that is a no-no for me. It's a no-no. Friends should not ask friends that. So apparently, I think our audience, I don't see they saying anything about that.
No, nobody has said anything.
Okay. I think let's move on to the other one. There was one where I feel like, how do you feel about somebody's coming and tell you, I have to go to the airport. My flight is leaving at 5 o'clock, so I have to be at the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you give me a ride?
It depends.
How do you feel about that?
It depends. If it depends on
That's
how
my
close
question.
I am to the person. It depends on how close I am to the person and if it was something we had agreed upon.
Mm.
But now, for now, last minute, I think it's because you know the person has a good heart and they will not say no. If we had discussed it and was something I had agreed upon or I maybe even volunteered, fine. But to call me at 11 o'clock in the night and ask me without a proper explanation, it would have to be somebody I am really, really tight with.
So I agree with what you're saying. And I just wanted to add on that. I think this one is so region specific. In a small place like St. Lucia, where if you don't have a car, you would
Right.
rely mostly on public transport.
And there's no Uber
And then
service.
there's no Uber, there's no reliable taxi service, and you have early flight. Then you can tell somebody, "Can you give me a ride to the airport?" But in a place like New York or any of the states or those big
Yes.
countries, most countries I've traveled to, there is Uber all over the place. Very reliable Uber, you know. So
Well,
if you're in a place where there is Uber, and all you have to do is just snap your fingers, and in 1 2 minutes, an Uber is outside. $30 for you, that's $50. Why ask me to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, especially if I have to work the next day, just to get up and take you to the airport? And when I come back home, since I cannot even fall asleep and I'm tired for no reason, just so that you can avoid spending 30, 40, $50. It doesn't make any sense to me.
well,
So I
yes.
feel like,
When looking at it this way, in a country that you could just call an Uber,
mm,
yes, I find it just call an Uber and get to where you're going.
yeah, I definitely feel that. I'm trying to use Leona's glasses so I can see the screen.
Oh, we have Miss Phillips said, "Great talk from phenomenal women. Big up."
Thank you, Ija. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Philip. Thank you, Miss Philip. Um, there were other examples. Guys, I don't see any examples from you, so I guess it is totally okay for people to ask you for any favors. Once they ask you, just say yes. Because this is not only about, situations that,
Joella, Joella
offend
said,
me and Vilna.
Joella said, but sometimes the person doesn't have the cash. So I think she's referring to the cash to call the Uber. So I guess that's what she's referring to. So I'm guessing she's saying the person doesn't have money to call an Uber. So that's why they're asking.
And you're going to the airport and you're traveling. How do you go on vacation without money? I don't know. I mean, again, I'm with you too into the other region. And again, if the friend is that, so maybe if the person is your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your sister, somebody really, really close to you. But first, you just randomly call somebody because in the name of friends and say, hey, I have to go to the airport at this time in the morning. I mean, again, the situation might warrant something different.
Yes.
If you have a child and your child is a young child, you don't have a car. Even if I don't have my young child at this time of the night, then you prearrange with the person maybe a good week in advance, unless it's like a real emergency.
Yes.
That is what just happened now for now. You cannot just call somebody and be like, okay, you know what? Hey, I need a ride at 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't sit well with me. That's something I would never do. And if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, just call an Uber. Just call an Uber. Because I feel sometimes people are taking advantage of your generosity, of your goodness, and then they're running away with it. So I would let me ask you another one. What about those friends who come to you and they tell you, oh, keeping dangerous secrets? They tell you something, they ask you, can you lie for me? Can you call my boss and tell my boss I'm in the hospital, I can't go to work? Like just any kind of secret, or tell my parents this, or can you call my husband, or can you call my wife and tell him this? Or they will just tell you, oh, don't tell anybody this, huh? And then they just tell you a crazy secret. And they're like, please don't take it. Just burden you, dump the secret on you, and then expect you to just keep it. How do you guys feel about that?
I have lied for people, but I would say do not make it a habit. And it depends. I have covered up for people and say they're with me and they're not with me. But but most of the times I do that, it's because the person I'm lying to for them, I don't like the person. So it's okay.
Oh wow. So we like you're being bad Vilna.
So if I don't like you, and then I'm like, especially if the person is dating somebody I don't like, and they want me, of course I'm going to tell. And or if it's, I mean, I have friends. My circle is small, but the people that I would do anything for. But it depends on the lie. But I would warn you. I would maybe do it once and say, don't make it a habit. It's best to just be honest and do what you have to do. But the burning secrets, if it's life threatening, or because I remember once,
Joella says, keep it. Keep the secret.
Yeah, somebody said to me, I was asking, it seemed really serious, and I asked what's wrong, and she said, if I tell you, they're going to kill you. I said, it's okay. I don't want to know. And so secrets like that, I don't know if she was serious. I never asked again what was the problem. She said, I tell you, they're going to kill you. I said, that's okay. I don't want to know. So secrets like that, I'm good. Keep it. I agree with Joella. Keep it.
There was a time when I used to lie for my own self. And then I decided, I'm a grown woman. Nobody will be beating me. So sometimes I'm very strategic. I strategize. So like, I'll give an example. So for example, how people just say, you know what? I'm going away. And they will tell their boss, I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. I'm on sick leave. And then they will tell you, call this person and tell them, oh, I'm in the hospital. I'm not doing things like that anymore. And I'm going to give out a strategy you can use. You know what I do? I will send an email and I will say, I have a situation that's going to take me away from work for a week. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out. I will explain when I return.
Yeah, but
so
some people cannot do that.
Business, so I didn't lie to you. You assume I had a tragedy. I didn't lie to you. I might say, I have to run out of the country for a week. Then you assume it's because somebody's sick or somebody died. But I told myself I'm no longer saying I'm sick or I'm this, and the next thing I call it to myself for true. So if
Well,
I stop
that's
lying
it.
for myself, I stop lying for people. I mean, unless it's a life and death thing, I'm not lying for you. Deal with your own situation.
Yeah, and
I'm
it
not gonna
doesn't.
judge you, but don't ask me to lie for you.
The lies, as long as you tell one lie, you have to tell a second lie and a
Yeah,
third, and then you have to remember the lies to cover up the lies. It's a lot of work.
yeah.
It's a lot of work.
So Joella says, depending on what job you hold. So Joella,
Yes,
you want to elaborate on that? You can
because
elaborate on that in the
I
chat.
I cannot just call my boss and say I will be out for a week. She'll tell me no, you have to take it off your annual vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Because with us, we can stay home up to 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'd have to call in sick. You'd have to say you're not well or something without a sick leave certificate, but only 2 consecutive days, and you can
Mm-hmm.
only do it um, for 12 days in the year. But apart from that, if I try something like that, they'll tell me take it off my annual vacation. So I guess
So,
for you can, but then some other people, if they do that, they lose their job.
well, that makes sense. So if you know your situation better than anybody else. So
Yeah.
if you say something that you lose your job, don't do it. But just don't figure I will do it and I put give somebody else that difficult conversation to have. So I'm saying it's
Right.
not fair. So I can be like,
Mhm.
no, you yourself do that, but don't ask me to do that. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just
Mhm.
saying if somebody
Don't
asks
ask
you,
you to do
it's
it. Yeah.
okay for you to say no. There's this famous one. Somebody call you, oh, I need a big favor from you. What's the favor? I have a friend of mine coming up, but I can't keep them at my house right now. Can you take them for 2 weeks?
That's not a favor.
Like, how can you ask me to sit somebody you don't know my life? And I mean,
Mhm.
you could ask that, and if I'm like, oh, okay, I was well lonely, sure, bring them over, it's fine, then okay. But if I say no, don't be mad and be like, oh, well, I asked her to take my friend for me, and then she said no. She's so selfish, she's so inconsiderate, because that's exactly what happens in cases like that when you say no. So the thing is, I guess you're not looking at what is it you can't ask, but what kind of favors are being asked of you where you have a right to say no. And even if
Mhm.
people call you all kinds of names in the book, yeah, you should not care about.
You should not.
I mean,
Yes.
that's like crossing the line, crossing the line.
That one is crossing the line because it again, if you're calling me, like for example, maybe one of my sisters had to come by me and something came up at my house and they couldn't, and I call another sister and say, well, you know what, can you take her for the week because this happened? Or that's different. But for a friend to just call me and said my friend is coming from England and I can't take her, can you? No, that's wrong. That one is wrong on all levels.
And I mean, if your friend, put a friend up in a hotel, family member who has all the space and maybe all the time in the world, I don't know. But and again, I get
An emergency, like they missed their flight. The flight was something, an
yeah,
emergency. Well, if they
that's
miss their flight,
understandable.
they'll put them up at a hotel. If it's
Exactly,
the
even that.
airline's fault, if it's the airline's
Mm.
fault, you miss your something happened, an emergency, and you ask me to put somebody up for a night. That's different. But 2 weeks, no way.
Mm.
That's not an ask.
So
That's
Vils, before we almost had a commercial break. I mean, we are at, but if you if you had to tell somebody no, what are some of the diplomatic ways you can think of saying no without saying no, so that people don't look at you? Not that you care, but if you care enough, what are some of the ways we can say no? So I'm thinking one way is by just saying, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
well, yeah, I can't do that at this time. But then you'd have to be careful because they'll come back.
And they'll say you couldn't do it this time, last time. What about this time? That's a new time. I say, listen, I wish I could help you differently, but one of the things I have a principle that I don't bring people strangers into my house because I've had too many negative experiences, or to avoid negative experiences.
Negative
One of my
experiences.
boundaries is that I don't house people who are not
Yeah.
my very close friends or family members. I'm sorry, I can't help you like this. And if you have the capacity, you can go as far as saying, if you would like to, if it's a real emergency and I can, I can give you even money towards putting her up in a hotel room, him or her,
Right.
but I can't house anybody in my house.
Yes.
With your situation, Vils, you one of the things I would say is I don't lend money to anybody. Money always bring about some kind of brokenness in relationships. So I just have the principle that I don't lend money to people. If I have money and I can give somebody something as a gift, I give. But when it comes to borrowing, I would forward you to a bank. And I finish with that. You want to
Yeah.
get mad, you get mad.
Yes. You want to get mad, you get mad. Because somebody said that to me some time ago, that very same thing. I don't
Mm.
borrow. If you want money, ask me. If I can give you, I'll give you. But money borrowed, in his opinion, is money lost.
Yeah. And then you just say, I don't mix friendships with business. You're my friend, and I want to keep it that way. The minute you see friends and money start mingling, friction happens. And I value you too much as a friend for me to let money come between us. Look for another option.
Yes. But then the other thing too is if you were my friend, you would not say no.
I'm protecting our relationship. You know, I have learned to be so untactful. I've unlearned tact. Because I think people have a way of being nice and then the niceness causing problems between them. So one of the things I like to say, I'm too old to lie now. Because old people don't like. Old people just tell you as it is because they have kids. I'm like, I'm
Yes,
just
they
too
just
old to
figure,
lie
you
now.
know,
I'm too old
I
to lie
have
now.
less, yeah, I have less time on this earth, so I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah. Come on. So, when are we going to stop for a small pause? We do want to just show that last commercial for Sunblaze that's happening July
Right?
12th in about
Yeah.
2 weeks. But then we're gonna come right back and views. We'll probably be, you and I will role play a situation where you're going to ask me for something, going to ask you for something. Maybe I'll give you the task because you may be a little bit more diplomatic than me. As you can see, my sister already warned me that I need to stop quarreling. So, and we role play it, and then we're gonna have some final reflections for our audience on not crossing certain boundaries. So give us 1 second and we will be right back.
Love how we party, love how we fet. Pour out the bounty, everything set. Celebrate good friends and more. Let me see, tout moon, farewell. Love how the twin peaks rise to the top. Bounty, treasure, bright non-stop. We love with spirit and we all have fun. Love that loose and rum.
Perfectly blended,
Spirit of Saint Lucia.
smooth,
Spirit of Saint Lucia.
the rum of the people.
Spirit of Saint Lucia.
Experience the 6 flavors of Bounty Rum, the spirit of St. Lucia.
In this life I don't want no stress. Yeah, I just wanna have fun. In this life I don't want no stress. Yeah, I just wanna have fun. Every cent you spend, there's the ones who counting. That ain't making sense. They can't see when pressure mounting. Now my life is his, and the life is yours. I don't leave us a please. I know this I'm sure, but you don't have to like me. You don't have to like.
Right. So, so during the commercial break, Leona, you want to come? Put your face in the camera. Come on, say it. Hey, I'm here with you. So say it. During the commercial break, this is Leona's. Don't ask me that. Okay. Don't ask me why you single. Don't ask me if you have a partner. That have nothing to do. I just don't like when people ask me that. Hey, what's up? Hey, you have a boyfriend or who you dating? Like that have nothing to do with nobody. So I don't want people to ask me that. Like my intimate life is off. Don't ask me that question. And I That's agree. all that bothers me. I think if you're close enough and something is on in your life to somebody, then it is your prerogative to say, oh wow, I'm dating this guy. Oh, I met this new guy. Oh, I met this. But if I don't tell you, then why are you asking me? It means we're not close enough. I don't need to tell you that, right? Yes. So I totally agree. I totally agree. So we ready to role play, Vils? Let's role play.
Sure. Let's role play.
Um, what am I? Oh, Vilna, can I borrow your car? You know what? I really want to go to. I know you're not gonna be there for the weekend, or you have this car that's parked in you home, but you have this car that's parked in your garage for a while, and some of my friends are coming. I don't have a ride. You think it's okay to borrow me your car for like 2 days?
No, because my son will be using it. He has to take his to the shop, so he'll be using my car in the time I'm
Your son
out.
told me he was not going anywhere this weekend. You know, people asking can be indiscreet. I spoke to your son because I know sometimes he uses it. You told me, you know what, he has assignments. He's not going anywhere this weekend.
Okay, well, if you think you know my son better than me, then fine. But I'm telling you, he's going to be using the vehicle.
So while he's not using it for those 2 days, can I get it on the time that he's not using it? Even if it's for 2 hours?
No, because he will be using it. His is going into the shop, and he will
Mhm.
be using mine. He has errands to run for me. My son does not run himself.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that. There are people that are so ridiculous. They have already planned your whole life for you.
Oh,
And you
yes.
wouldn't dare say no because they'll be waiting for you. And I'm
Hmm.
like, this is my car under my name. It's insured under my name. If something happens to it, I'm responsible. And you're telling me, can you borrow my car to drive it? No.
But the
No.
saddest thing is, if something were to happen to it, the most you're going to get is a sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. They won't even help you pay for it because if your
Mhm,
vehicle is not comprehensive and then you took a chance and give it to a friend, you cannot go to your insurance.
mhm,
And sometimes, even if it is comprehensive, when you go to your insurance and you lost your no claim, next
mhm.
year your your premiums will spike up. So you want to keep your no claim. They just
And
say
then,
sorry.
and
They
then these
just say
people don't care. They don't
sorry.
understand that.
Yes, and they don't understand these things because some people see you and they just see dollar signs. From the moment you appear, like, oh, here comes money.
So
Yeah,
Jerry Peters says, what if it's a guy that's interested in you? You're gonna have to elaborate on that a little more. What if it's a guy that's interested in you? If he's asking you to borrow your car?
it depends. Interested and in a relationship is different. If we're in a relationship, of course, I could borrow you my car, but I hope you have a car to borrow me too.
I was about to
Sorry.
say, if you're interested in me, you better go and listen to Sparrow. Sparrow say you don't have no right. Hey, you already had a song. I want man with right. You don't have a right. Interested what? Go and try to get. Okay, I shouldn't say that. Be like, "Hey, please hold my tongue. Put it in check. I mean, if you have to borrow my, you do have a right. You interested? You already asked me to borrow my car. What are you going to ask me for when we're in an actual relationship?
Well,
You
yeah,
just
that's why I said
so no.
interested in. Well, he said interested. He didn't say in a relationship. Yes, because, and I think he's asking that because most of the times when you just start in something or somebody's interested in you, you lose all boundaries because you giddy in love. Please,
No, no, you're not borrowing my car.
no.
You already come and ask me to borrow me, so I already know if we get any deeper, there's gonna be problems. No, come
Yeah,
and stand your own. No,
if you already want the car, what next you gonna?
mm-mm, mm-mm. So listen, guys. I don't know where this hour went to. We didn't even have a lot of people talking back at us, but yes, this hour just run away.
Yes.
So I want you, before you leave here, do a bit of quiet reflection. And I want you to finish this sentence in your head. You don't have to put it in the chat, you don't have to tell it to anybody, but just in your head. I realize I need boundaries around, and think about somebody or a situation around which you need a boundary, because without those boundaries, your life have been a little, unsteady. Just think about it to yourself. So that the next time when this situation presents, you could say, you know what? No. I remember Yolanda and Vilna were telling us that sometimes it is okay to say no, because if you don't say no, then your boundaries just dissolve. The strongest relationships are the ones where somebody says no. Because if
Hmm.
you're constantly saying yes, 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 people are constantly taking advantage of you.
Yeah, it's where you can set boundaries, where you can be real. No, and look at the relationships where you say yes, yes, yes. They're weak. Yeah, Jerry said, what did he say? He
He said
said,
no if he is
no, if he's
asking
asking whether or
or
not
not you're
you're
in
in
a
a,
relationship. I don't understand.
no, I mean it.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. No, if he's asking,
Whether or not you're in a relationship.
you know what? I
You
I
figure out what he's
no,
asking?
that's actually sticking to my eyes. I just understand what he's trying to say. I think he's just being facetious right now. I
Okay,
think it is
okay.
pointing to Leona's comment when Leona said, I hate people to ask
Oh,
you,
okay,
I'm in a
okay,
relationship, am I single? That's not your business. So maybe he's
okay.
asking if
He's
it's a
because he's
guy who is
interested.
asking.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes, I get
yeah. We're
he's
thinking
probably
of the
asking.
wrong
So
thing.
what if,
Yes.
if it's a guy that's asking you, wait, so are you single? Can we talk? Can
And
you
he's right. He said Leona said don't ask her about her relationship. So he was referring to Leona. Yes.
where I
Well,
think
have to tell Leona come and answer that question.
I was about to tell him I think that's a question he's gonna have to ask Leona. Oh, Leona is coming. Who's on my case? Jerry. He said, what if it's a guy who asks you if you're single and if you're in a relationship?
But that's what I'm
Because
saying. I can ask me that if he's interested.
that's
Yes,
what he
but I
said.
do
That's
not
what he
want,
asked.
because the guy will ask you if he's interested, he may be looking to pursue something.
Mm.
But some friends are inquiring information either to relate to somebody else or just to be nosy. I don't like the nosiness because I don't ask people, my friends in my life, I never ask them what's going on in the intimate life. That's something I don't do. And if I have something to tell my friends or concerning my intimate life, they will know. But if I don't tell you, don't ask me
Don't
that.
ask. Agreed.
Okay?
Okay.
Jerry, does that
Leona
clarify
answer.
your answer, your question?
I think it does. Joella has something to say. Joella says, lately, I have set lots of boundaries for my sanity and peace, and it's great.
Yeah,
Joella,
perfect.
thank you. That's what I
Perfect.
meant.
And that's what we're talking about, setting those boundaries so that people don't take advantage of you. Because the minute you don't have boundaries and people feel they could just step in and, go all up in your business and ask you for anything. Now, it's one thing if they feel what you feel like you want to do it, do it.
Do
But
it,
then
yeah.
just expect that it is my choice to say no. And I will tell you something. For whatever request somebody asks, and if you respond and you say no and they get mad, then that person is not your friend. And that person is not looking out for you. And that wasn't a request. Because if you're asking a request, you expect that it can be either yes or no. So if when you hear no, you're upset, it means you were just expecting to hear yes. And because you didn't hear yes, all of a sudden we're
Yeah.
enemies. So just be, aware that those kinds of requests are not like, as face value as they may seem. They have some kind of underlying expectations that you may not be ready to give into. Yeah. So I think that's our hour for now. Guys, I want to remind you that healthy people respect healthy boundaries that you set. Sometimes the greatest favor you can do for yourself is saying no and being honest with yourself. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give to yourself is giving yourself the permission to say no without guilt, without apology, without fear. Don't let anybody feel that they have the power to back you into a corner, to degrade you, to talk about you, to unfriend you, to unrelative you just because you say no. If they're doing that, they're not looking out for your best interests. When you feel that somebody's asking for too much, please say no. Just say no. Right, Bills?
Yes, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. Do
And
not be afraid to say no. Set your boundaries and keep your boundaries for your own sanity.
let's read Adela's sentence.
Say no is a full sentence, no explanation needed. Amen.
I think that's the perfect sentence to end
To
on.
close the show.
No,
Thank you.
put the sentence. No.
No, that's
Period,
it.
an exclamation mark. No.
Nothing after. No.
And I don't have to elaborate on why.
Yeah, you don't have to stammer. You don't have to say no, but no. Clear, N-O, and spell it for the person if they don't understand.
And if the banner running across the screen was any indication, you can read it. Friend, you really asked me that? If you don't want to say no, friend, you really asked me that? So now turn the guilt. Don't let them make you feel guilty. If it doesn't serve you, or if you feel it's too much, no. Or friend, you really asked me that? Sis, you really asked me that? Mom, you really asked me that? Dad, you really asked me that? Husband, wife, babe, lover, you really asked me that? Set your boundaries.
No.
And embrace them. So this is Hushtalk, and this is all what we had for you tonight. I know, Joella, when we left week, you were asking, what are we doing? Like you were forward to what we're doing the following Wednesday. I don't know what we're gonna be doing. Wait, Wednesday I'll be on. Next week Wednesday is the Wednesday I won't be on. Okay. So we haven't decided what we're doing Wednesday yet, but we do know next week St. Lucia is going to be alive for Carnival. So we may do something Carnival related. We may do something, I'm not sure. Maybe we're going to share a poll, and then you guys can tell us what you're interested to talk about next week, Wednesday. But we thank you for your presence. Thank you for your contribution. We thank you for listening. And as always, you are the most important part of Hushtalk. Your voice matters. Have a good night. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Hushtalk, where we continue to talk, we continue to listen, to learn, and to grow together. Have a good night.
Good night.